Well, we're going to have some fun today. Our talk is called Put the Lime in Your Coconut. If you've been around for years and years, you may remember that some years ago, David and I took that song and changed the words a little bit. Not too much, but a little bit. And today, we are going to share how to put the lime in your coconut. And we are using the word lime as an acronym. And the L for lime, of course, is love. If you know me, you already knew that was what was going to come out of my mouth. So I will begin by talking about love. Life is the great giver, and each one of us is a distributor. Words from our founder, Ernest Holmes. We are distributors. And we are distributors of the only thing that really exists, love. And I will admit that that can look different at different times in our lives, coming to us, moving through us. But we are the distributors in whichever way we choose to show up with our free will. And for me, being a distributor of love is the greatest life blessing that we have to share in this human experience. It's a task that is well worth both our time and our attention. To be the self-givingness of love, to be the self-givingness of life to life. We teach and believe love is a self-surrender, which instead of depriving, fulfills. I'm going to read that again. It is words from Ernest Holmes, and I know I've read them time and time again because they come from those little white books and probably many other places that I read over and over and over. And these words never popped for me like they did today. Love is a self-surrender, which instead of depriving, fulfills. Wow. Where in your life do you love? Where do you feel passionate? Where do you feel grateful? Where do you love so very, very much that you are acting as the unconditional love that life is? That it feels so powerful that your heart feels like the heart of the universe. Where are those places in your life that your heart overflows as you live? Those places that life feels natural, because those are the places where you are meant to be. We have been speaking over these past weeks quite a bit about law and the creative process. It was very coincidental that Frank chose that idea with the seed and the creative process. In Science of Mind, we teach that love is the fulfillment of the law. Love is the fulfillment of the law. That love will always find the solution. Love will always find the path, the way, within itself to every problem or apparent problem, to every question, and that love dissolves all that is unlike itself. I really like the idea of love being a self-surrender, which instead of depriving fulfills us. As I look into my own life, I see the many ways in which I have felt and feel today fulfilled because I gave of myself a lovely, simple self-surrender to the love found in relationships, careers, daily living, spirituality, and time in nature for me. What about you? You don't have to call it out, but just think about it. What in you feels ever so natural, so magnificent, so fulfilling when you are doing it, when you are saying it, when you are sharing it, when you are being it? What comes to mind for you as an area in your life where you self-surrender and feel the fulfillment of the law returning to you as love. Because that's exactly who and where you are meant to be.
The next letter in line is, of course, I. So I will be speaking about imagination. Imagine that. You know, you create only what you believe. And you know, in science of mind, we do create what we absolutely believe in. And you believe only what you can imagine to be true. The key is to stretch your beliefs by stretching your imagination. Imagination requires freedom of thought, because really imagination is nothing but freedom of thought. It has no boundaries. You can't enter into imagination without a sense of freedom. To achieve one or the other, you must develop one or the other. So if you want more freedom, you must have more imagination. And if you want more imagination, you must have a sense of freedom. The two go hand in hand. They work together. If you believe that imagination is a small factor in life, I'll give you one word, or one name. Walt Disney. Had a lot of imagination. He did some amazing things, didn't he, with that imagination? He was not the only person that could do those things. We can as well. If we just have a little imagination. I'll give you another name. Dr. Albert Einstein says that imagination is more important than knowledge. For knowledge is limited, whereas imagination embraces the entire world, stimulating progress, giving birth to evolution. A scientist talking about the importance of imagination. He also said, I am enough of the artist to draw freely upon my imagination. You know, it seems that Einstein saw imagination as a place to play, a place for questioning minds, and he wanted to encourage that in a society that focused on knowledge. Remember, he came from a scientific background, and he was a scientist, and he believed that imagination was so important in science that all scientists should get accustomed to actually using it, practicing it. It's an important tool. There's another great metaphysician by the name of John Lennon. Everybody know that name? He said, imagine all the people living for today. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. Does it seem like a bigger task than we are able to accomplish right now? We look around ourselves and we see a lot of division and separation going on in the world, all around us and all around the world, basically. Is it really too much of a task to fix it all? What if you practiced imagining a world in which we all live together and work together and benefited together rather than pulling apart? To change the world, there has to be a change in you, and you are the starting point. You're the one who starts the entire process. Use your imagination. It'll create a lot of freedom in your life.
Imagine that. So the M is for mindset. Thought held in mind takes after its kind. So, a biggie for us as human beings. You must leave your past in the past. Because if you don't, it can destroy your future. None of us really want that, but we have to really be purposeful with that, leaving our past in the past. You live for what today has to offer you, not what yesterday has been, nor for what it seems to have taken away. It's just so true that as one door closes, another opens. Ernest Holmes wrote, "Life is like the sun. It shines on everything. Get out of the shadows. Crawl out of your basement. Open the windows of your mind. Open the doors of your soul." This takes trust. Trust that this incredible, mystical universe is on your side, that it has your back. It knows what you want and it obliges, even when you don't see it. Sometimes in a moment we don't see the good that is coming our way. And it is for us to trust life and to make wise choices within, to listen to that intuition. Trust life and work with it, not against it. So when you think about what's happening in your life, if you don't change it, you are choosing it. Wow, that's pretty powerful. Realizing that we have the power to change it. And that if we don't change something that we don't like, we are choosing it. All that challenge you can help you design a deeper understanding of your world, your journey, your personal path, and yourself. To evolve, we must pivot constantly and purposefully. To grow requires change. And sometimes we don't like that word, do we? Change. But it's a good word. And if you look back, to use the past to look forward, you will notice that there is nothing that was too big that you weren't able to overcome. And so change, pivoting constantly, purposefully, and changing, stepping out of that comfort zone. To become more, you must continually want more and see more, like your imagination leads you toward. Challenge your fears. Step out of that comfort zone and that which is most familiar. Make changes to move into your greatness. Because greatness is always in your hands. You have the power. It is within your reach. And it is especially when you make greatness your mindset that it becomes your reality. Ernest Holmes said, direct your thinking. Become the master of your own thinking. He reminds us that we are fundamentally a mental being. We travel around in this body, but fundamentally we are a mental being, a soul body, a subtle body. So basically, think ourselves into the situation of our choosing. The path recommended is to identify yourself with your desires. Identify yourself with your desires. That one really got me thinking, because I can remember, especially before this teaching, how often I would think inside myself, oh, I could never do that. And so I wouldn't use my imagination. I wouldn't love myself enough to do it, to try it. And what's the worst thing that can happen? It didn't work out the way you wanted it to, so you pivot and you move to something different. Identify yourself with your desires. Instead of, I could never do that, I can do anything I want to. What do I want? Learn to think about what you wish to become. You are the main character in your own stories. You are the director, and you are the producer of your own stories.
Well, finally, for the lime, the E is, when I first looked at this, the first word that popped in my mind was enthusiasm. And I thought, well, that's a pretty cool word, but how am I going to talk about that? And I thought, well, it's great excitement and expectations. Excited expectation. We have that terminology we use quite often. Ernest Holmes used it, to joyous expectancy, to create within ourselves a sense of joyous expectancy. And I said, okay, so excited expectancy is E. I know it's two E's, but there you go. And so the acronym is live in more expectation. Line. Live in more expectation. Knowing that there are no limits to what you can achieve. There's no limits to what you can accomplish in your life. And there's no limit to what you can manifest in your life. Success strategies all include setting goals and benchmarks for that which we desire, that which we wish to experience, and then going forth to achieve them. So that's creating a sense of expectation at the end of the process. Jesus says, pray believing you already have it. That's creating a sense of expectation, knowing that there is something as a result of this spiritual practice that I'm doing. Now, I looked it up on the internet because I thought there must be some pretty cool quotes about joyous or excited expectancy. And here's what I got. Managing expectations so they don't manage you. Another one was ways to avoid having unrealistic expectations. And the next one was avoid excited expectation to avoid disappointment. None of those, by the way, are science of mind ideas. Did you get that already? I certainly hope you did. I guess my realization when I started reading those was, how do you define unrealistic? What is unrealistic? Is it because there is a sense of limitation to it? We realize that our lives are limited, and so therefore we shouldn't really expect too much good? Well, fear based on limitation is not reality. It's just fear. That's all it is. If you never dare to look around the corner to see what's coming, you'll never see what's coming around the corner, and you'll always be a choice to assume either the same old, or some disaster, or some problem, or some dysfunction, or so forth. Or you can dream. You can dream about magic around the corner. You're always a choice. You can dare to dream of magic. And if you never dream, you'll never have your dreams come true. I've said that often here. So set a groundwork in which mediocrity has no place to root itself. If you're always thinking positively, you're always pushing aside the mediocrity and disappointment and the failure and so on are always pushed aside by new and exciting possibilities. Think about the exciting possibilities and look at them with great anticipation, great expectation to see them actually come about in your life. Remember that disappointment, failure, mediocrity, conformity, etc. are not attributes of God. They are attributes of a state of mind. And all you need to do is change your thinking to greater expectation, and all those negative attributes will simply fall away to the nothingness from which they came.
Yes, love it. And now we have a special surprise to help you remember to keep the lime, love, imagination, mindset, and excited expectancy in your coconut. David had a coconut, he bought it for a dime.
Deborah had another one, she bought it for the lime. You put the lime in your coconut, you drink it all up. Put the lime in your coconut, you drink it all up. You put the lime in your coconut, you drink it all up. You put the lime in your coconut. Call the doctor, woke him up and said, Doctor, ain't there nothing I can take? I said, Doctor, to relieve this heartache. I said, Doctor, ain't there nothing I can take? I said, Doctor, to relieve this heartache. Now let me get this straight. You put the lime in your coconut to get yourself straight. You put the lime in the coconut to get yourself straight. You put the lime in your coconut to get yourself straight. Put the lime in the coconut. Call the doctor, woke him up and said, Doctor, ain't there nothing I can do? I said, Doctor, when I am feeling blue. I said, Doctor, ain't there nothing I can do? I said, Doctor, when I am feeling blue. You put the lime in your coconut. Get your thinking straight. You put the lime in your coconut, and soon you're feeling great. You put the lime in your coconut. Don't you hesitate. You put the lime in your coconut so you can demonstrate. Don't call me in the morning. You know just what to do. You put the lime in your coconut.